Pretty excited about it. As you can tell from the box, it's a Olympus XA. This is the original one that has a little rangefinder window right there. It's kind of cool how it protects it when it's closed. When you open and close the clamshell, there's actually a little shield in there. I didn't realize until I got this. Opens and closes. I'm not going to go over too much of the kind of the regular features of it because you've probably seen it in other videos. But, what's unique about this is it's a tiny rangefinder. There actually is a true rangefinder right there, obviously. It has a really interesting f-Zuiko, it's a 35 millimeter f2.8 lens. I've read a bit about the lens. Apparently it's a very unique design in that it's kind of really small and cramped. It doesn't stick out, as you can tell. And in order to make that work, Olympus had to do some crazy stuff with the optics and the groups of elements and whatnot. It's interesting, the focus throw is right here, and it's hard. I mean, you can't see it in the film or in the camera here, but if you look closely, you can see like one element kind of moving when you focus. That's infinity, and then the closest is about 2.8 feet. This is all in feet, or slightly less technically than 2.8 feet. It's really short throw, and it's kind of interesting how quickly you can move from infinity up to the closest focus distance. You'll also notice that's actually the light meter right there, and as you change the aperture, you can kind of see there's this thing moving around in there. As you close it down, not only can you see, by the way, the aperture, which is literally like two elements. Hopefully you guys can see that here in the video, but it actually is a square aperture. It's like two pieces from the top and bottom that kind of close in and end up making a square aperture down to the minimum is f22, and then it goes all the way open to wide open at f2.8, and then when you have the flash, it actually stops it down, you can see, to like the equivalent of what is considered f4, which is interesting. I'll get into the flash more in a moment. And then you have your your ISO control there, which goes down to 25, which I don't really shoot any ISO 25 film, and then only up to 800, which is kind of interesting. I just shot a roll 400 to test it out. Kind of surprising, but I guess maybe this is an 80s camera. Maybe they really didn't have normal consumer film, which is sort of what this is for, consumer camera, that went past really ISO 800 or ASA 800. That's my only thought. It's really smooth action, so there's no film in it right now. Actually, I'll kind of take that up and show you guys real quick. I just finished, like I said, I shot a roll quickly today, just tested out, so nothing surprising here. And you'll note this isn't like really good shape. I was really amazed. When I bid on it, I knew it looked nice, but it literally looks like the previous person maybe shot one or two rolls. So as normal, you kind of lift that up, film door opens, pretty straightforward, advance. That I actually learned is the Rangefinder Adjustment, and here you can see the little pin or whatever to reset the exposure count. This one, the seals are looking a little bit rough, but we'll find out if there's light leak. I hope not. If not, I have to figure out how to get them repaired, because this is a really cool camera. Once you load a roll, obviously advance it. Check out how quiet the shutter is on this. I mean, it's crazy quiet. Point it at a bright light here so you can really hear it at a faster shutter speed. It's really quiet. This is an electronic shutter button, as you've probably read about if you're interested in this camera. Feather touch. Barely touch that guy and it goes off. There's the viewfinder. I'm not gonna hold this up to the camera, but it's a pretty nice viewfinder. It's not that big. The left side, you see the shutter speed indicated, has frame lines, which basically go to the edge of the viewfinder, and then this tiny rangefinder patch in the middle, and that's basically it. It's not the brightest rangefinder patch, and even the frame lines, you kind of have to have the camera literally pointed into a light source to make the frame lines illuminate, because there's no separate illuminator window like you see on Leicas and a lot of rangefinders that pick up light and direct it into kind of illuminate the frame lines. That's basically it. You can see the focus lever kind of sort of protruding underneath the kind of clamshell cover. This is also double duty as the power. So it's off right now. When you open it, that actually turns the camera's power on. Kind of neat, really fancy for the 80s. It has this cool feature. I know all this has been probably said before, but you have that plus 1.5 exposure comp for a backlight, battery check, and then the self timer, which here, I'll just for the hell of it. You see the light. And it will shoot here in a moment. Super quiet. And the battery's going here, rewind button, that's it, tripod socket. It is a tiny little camera. Oh, maybe I'll show you guys the Film Advance. I actually kind of like this little rolling wheel versus a normal Film Advance lever, shuttercock, you know, switch or lever. So that's kind of it. I will be back with photos taken with this, assuming they came out. I really hope they do, because this camera's like freaking amazing. It's such a cool little camera. This one's in such good shape. So here's the, I mean, you could tell this is like barely even scratched. So there's even a little arrow right there to tell you. There's an arrow on this, if you can kind of see that. I think the focus is off here. And then there's an arrow, a white arrow there. It's telling you to clip it on that way. It's really neat. What else I got with this was this special little case, and then this flat, oh, and I have them, it came with manuals and everything. Like this was such a score on eBay. I have to go through these, and then this flash, oh, and this seller is so awesome. I won this on eBay for $90, which is pretty steep considering, but I've seen them go for, you know, 150 in this kind of shape. This thing is like basically new. So the flash is really cool. You'll see the screw-in mount, a little positioner, and then there's literally a, hopefully this is in focus here, little contacts for the flash. So it literally just kind of plugs in here. You screw it on. Interestingly enough, it has indications for the distance with 100 and 400 ISO film. And check this out. It's electronic. When you push this into flash, it auto activates this guy. So there's some connection. What I found really, so once this charges up all the way, let me give it a moment here, the light comes on. Check this out though, when you push this down, it actually is able to connect to this through some kind of electronic contact to tell it that it's no longer in flash. I thought that was really interesting. So there's the flash. So yeah, that's about it. Again, totally excited. I think this is probably going to be one of my favorite cameras, assuming it doesn't have any issues. Hopefully the pictures look good. Focus is a little bit tough, but we'll see how accurate it was. And if it works, great. I'll be taking a lot of photos with it and sharing with you guys. More to come. Thanks.